There comes a point when the noise of life becomes too much to bear, when every conversation feels like static, every plan feels forced, and every sound seems to echo through your mind until you can no longer hear yourself think. You wake up tired, not because of lack of sleep, but because your spirit is weary from trying to keep up with a world that never stops talking. And in that exhaustion, when the chaos finally becomes unbearable, something unexpected happens. Silence finds you. Not the kind of silence that comes from absence, but the kind that comes from truth. The kind that doesn't arrive gently but breaks through like light after a storm, clearing everything false from your path. You don't look for this silence. It finds you in moments of collapse, in the instant you realize that nothing external can fix what's happening inside. In the second, you stop pretending to enjoy conversations that drain you. In the pause between your inhale and your exhale, when you finally stop running. It finds you not as an escape but as a return. The return to yourself, to what was always there beneath the noise. The noise begins subtly. It doesn't always sound like chaos. It's the hum of constant comparison, the endless scrolling, the need to respond, to react, to prove. It's the sound of trying to matter in a world addicted to attention. And at first, it feels like life. It feels like belonging. But slowly, it begins to consume you. You start to lose the sound of your own thoughts, the rhythm of your own breathing, the sense of what truly matters. You start living in reaction, not reflection. You become part of the noise. But the soul can only take so much pretending before it begins to rebel. That rebellion doesn't always come as anger. It often comes as fatigue, a quiet, heavy exhaustion that whispers, "Enough." That's when you stop answering every call, stop engaging in every argument, stop performing for people who aren't even paying attention. You begin to retreat, not because you're weak, but because you're remembering your strength. You begin to crave silence, not as a luxury, but as a necessity. At first, the silence feels uncomfortable. You've been conditioned to equate stillness with emptiness. So when it first arrives, it feels like something's missing. You'll reach for your phone, open it without knowing why, check notifications that mean nothing, just to avoid the vast quiet that now surrounds you. But the silence doesn't leave. It waits, patiently. It knows that you'll come to see it not as a void, but as a mirror. And that mirror will show you everything: the truth, the pain, the beauty, and the illusion. When you stop distracting yourself, you begin to hear what the noise was covering. You hear your own thoughts, raw, unfiltered, sometimes painful. You hear the voices of fear, of doubt, of the parts of you you've been avoiding. And at first, it's overwhelming. You might even want the noise back. But if you stay, if you allow yourself to be held in that silence long enough, something miraculous happens. The chaos begins to dissolve. The fear starts to lose its power. The pain starts to speak, not to hurt you, but to free you. Because silence is not absence, it's awareness. It's the field beneath all experience. It's the space that allows you to finally see clearly, to finally breathe without the weight of performance. When the noise becomes unbearable, silence finds you, not to punish, but to purify. The world will not understand this phase. They'll call it detachment. They'll say you're disconnected, distant, withdrawn, but you know better. You know that you're not disappearing. You're reappearing in your own life for the first time in a long time. You're no longer scattering your energy trying to be everywhere. You're finally gathering yourself back home. And in that homecoming, something begins to shift. You start noticing the subtleties of existence, the way light filters through the window in the morning, the way your breath feels in your chest, the way your thoughts rise and fall like waves. You realize that life doesn't need to be chased. It's already happening right here, in this stillness. You start realizing how much you missed while you were busy being busy. The silence teaches you what noise never could. It shows you that peace isn't something to earn, it's something to allow. It reveals that much of your suffering came not from what happened to you, but from your resistance to being still. With it, it shows you that your mind creates storms that your heart already knows how to calm. It shows you that stillness isn't stagnation, it's sacred movement, invisible but powerful. And once you taste this stillness, you begin to see the world differently. You see people not for what they say, but for what they avoid saying. You start feeling energy instead of listening to words. You recognize when something resonates and when it doesn't. You begin to discern what is true and what is merely loud. You no longer chase every opportunity, respond to every message, or join every conversation. You start protecting your silence like a sacred space because you understand now. It's where your real life begins. There will be moments when the old world tries to pull you back. You'll feel the temptation to re-enter the noise, to fill the stillness with activity. But every time you do, your body will remind you. It will tighten, it will ache, it will whisper, "This isn't peace." And that whisper will become your compass. You'll start choosing differently. You'll start saying no more often, not out of rejection, but out of self-respect. The more you listen, the more you'll understand that silence isn't passive, it's alive, it's creative. It's where every idea, every insight, every act of true creation begins. All wisdom arises from stillness. Every revelation is born from quiet. Even the universe itself began with silence before the first sound ever emerged. You might lose people during this transformation. The ones who thrived on your availability, on your constant presence in their noise, won't understand your quiet. They might even call it selfish, but silence doesn't need to defend itself. It knows that those who are meant for you will find peace in your peace, not threat in it. The people who truly see you will recognize that your stillness isn't distance, it's depth. And one day, you'll wake up and realize that what once felt like isolation now feels like sanctuary. You'll start to crave mornings without words, walks without music, nights without screens. You'll realize that silence is not something you escape to. It's something that follows you everywhere, like a quiet friend, reminding you to breathe, to slow down, to listen. That's when you truly understand the paradox. Silence was never the absence of life. It was the doorway to it. In the silence, you hear the universe breathing. You feel your soul expanding. You realize that you were never alone. You were just too noisy to notice the presence that was always with you. And when that realization lands, everything changes. The same world that once overwhelmed you now feels gentle. The same people who once irritated you now evoke compassion. You stop fighting what is. You begin to live in flow, moving with life instead of against it. You no longer need to control. You no longer need to chase. You finally trust the rhythm of things. This is what happens when the noise becomes unbearable and silence finds you. You return to truth. You rediscover that peace was never something to earn. It was always your natural state. You simply forgot it beneath layers of noise, distraction, and fear. But silence never gave up on you. It waited patiently for the moment you'd stop running. And if you're here now, if the world feels too loud, if your heart feels tired, if you've been craving something you can't quite name, maybe silence is calling you too. Not to isolate you, but to remind you of who you are. Maybe the exhaustion you feel isn't a problem to fix, but a doorway opening. Maybe the silence you fear is the space where healing begins. So when it comes, don't resist it. Don't fill it. Let it wash over you. Let it empty you of everything false. Let it show you that you are more than the thoughts that race through your mind. Let it remind you that peace is not something you find in the world. It's something you uncover within yourself when the noise stops. And when you find that peace, even for a moment, protect it. Because the world will keep trying to take it from you. It will tempt you with urgency, with chaos, with fear. But you'll know better now. You'll know that your power doesn't come from how loudly you speak, but from how deeply you listen. You'll know that silence isn't weakness, it's mastery. Eventually, you'll become so rooted in your inner quiet that even when surrounded by noise, you remain still inside. That's the true freedom. The noise no longer controls you. It moves around you but never through you. You carry your silence like light, subtle, steady, unshakable. And this is the secret the world doesn't understand. Silence isn't the end of sound. It's the beginning of meaning. It's not where you lose life. It's where you finally meet it. When the noise becomes unbearable, silence doesn't take something away from you. It gives you back everything you had forgotten: clarity, peace, presence, truth. So if you're in that space now, standing at the edge of exhaustion, Overwhelmed by the chaos of the world, trust the stillness that's approaching. Don't fight it, don't fear it. Let it in, because silence isn't here to separate you from life. It's here to reconnect you with it. And when it does, you'll see that you never needed the noise at all. You just needed the courage to listen to what was always beneath it. If these words found you at the right time, if they reminded you of something you already knew deep down, leave a comment below. Tell me what silence has been teaching you. And if this message spoke to your soul, like, share, or subscribe, not for the noise of numbers, but to keep this quiet space alive, a space where truth can still be heard beneath the endless sound of the world. Because one day, when the noise becomes unbearable, silence will find you too. And when it does, it will feel like coming home.